Question 4. How did you use media technologies in the construction and research, planning and evaluation stages? Bernacchi, Byrne and Buckingham stated that technology developments may well be linked to advances in the creativity of the individual users, which means by using media technologies, the creativity of the products that come afterwards will be higher in quality due to understanding what there is before and what you need to do afterwards. In order to create a professional media text, you need to use the technologies available to you, as the industry is based on all the new media due to media being thrust into the online age. Research. For research, I looked on YouTube at videos such as Hardwell featuring Amber Shepherd and Miley Cyrus's Wrecking Ball in order to understand the codes and conventions of the genre I was making and therefore be able to pastiche a similar product for my A2 Advanced portfolio. Bennett et al. In 2006 stated that all media production takes light in other media production, which means that everything is already done before saying that you will be copying a real product, one way or another. It also means that you will understand the codes and conventions of a genre, as there are set rules as to what goes in which genre. I also use social media websites such as Facebook and Twitter to gain feedback ideas, particularly when I was still working in a group, as it was how we would communicate with each other and with the artist. I did, however, start using my phone to text and ring my artist after I started working on my own for convenience, and because I could no longer communicate in the Facebook group as I was no longer part of their decision-making process. Word and iMovie were used in the contraction of my analysis and real media products. Word was used to write the script and iMovie was to create movement. As I am classed as a digital native, I can use all of these technologies quite easily as I have grown up learning how to work these difficult softwares. Also, in the research stage, we had to look into what was best for our song, as we wanted to be able to find a clear sound, so we used SoundCloud, as that was the device she uses to upload her self-produced songs onto. Google was too valuable in the research stage, as it was infinite with the information available to us about the codes and conventions of real media products. However, people can change these and therefore make some of our research that I did irrelevant. However, it was useful to understand about subcultures, dig hebdage, and the associations that come with music in order to be able to plan what the audience I wanted to target my product at. The other side of the research that we had to do was find out was audience research. When I was still part of the group, we had to present a presentation on Prezi, an easy online PowerPoint maker, so we could present our ideas to the class. It was simple to use and made our PowerPoint look more professional, as you could use interesting slide transitions to move from slide to slide. After this, we collected the data from audience responses in order to understand if we had a good idea or not. We collected our data in the form of pie charts that we ended up using Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel for. Clark et al. Stated that regular audience research was vital, which means that the more audience research you do, the more you'll be hitting your target audience and therefore become more popular. It was a simple way to collect our results, which led us to understand what the areas we needed to improve were and what we needed to focus on before creating our music video. This is part of the planning stage of the product. Also, we used a website called bubbleup.us. That is an online way to create mind maps, which we did initial ideas, including which song and artist we're going to use, what genre is going to be, and any additional general information, such as the mise-en-scène for our music video. It was easy to use and displayed our ideas clearly so we could make informed ideas of what we wanted to do. To keep all our findings of both research and of planning, we had to post onto our individual WordPress accounts, building a better portfolio from the AS1 we had created last year. Though we used to use another blogging website called Posterous, and it was easier to use, the more we used this website, WordPress was slowly becoming easier, and I now think it is a great way to keep track of my coursework. For construction of my main product, I use Adobe Premiere Editing Suite. Though it proved difficult to get used to, I eventually found it easy to navigate my way around, even being able to use a razor tool, edit the brightness and contrast of each individual clip, and add crossfades and dissolves to the transitions between slides, in order to create a professional-looking product. To film these takes, I used a Canon video camera, both compact and full-sized. I also needed a tripod, tracking dolly, track for the tracking dolly, additional lighting, and a DSLR camera. These were all fairly easy to use apart from the tracking dolly that proved difficult to control, as sometimes we would need more track and would get to the end without finishing the shot, which therefore made the shaky clips. When I began working on my own, I found it difficult to understand the time codes in which the video cameras use in order to keep time tracking of what you've already filmed, and I kept filming over what I had just shot. I saw my media technician who helped me understand how not to lose my work, but he also showed me how to adjust the exposure so the light would be brighter. I also used the widescreen in TRC Studios in order to look like I had booked out a real studio, keeping my product looking professional. The shot taps I used to my ancillaries, I used the DSLR camera with delayed shutter speed so that it let in more light and to keep in cohesion with my moving product. I used Adobe Photoshop CS6 to edit these images on by using the contrast and brightness tool, the airbrushing tool, and the burn tool. I airbrushed out the imperfections around her skin and used the burn tool in order to make my artist look flawless and not shiny, in order to create a desirable female for my audience to see as an ideal self for an ideal partner, Carl Rogers. I used the impressions to make a CD and DVD extra designs to make it look even more professional that came with the Digipack templates. I liked using Photoshop, it was easy, but with something that I needed to do, such as cut my artist from the background layer, the process would have taken a very long time and was very time consuming, therefore needed more work. For my evaluations, I tried to use websites such as Animo and Powtoon, but found I couldn't use this technology effective enough as the time I had to get my evaluations done meant that I couldn't sit and teach myself how to use the software. Animoto appeared to only give out 30-second trials, which would not have been ideal for my evaluations. I therefore used iMovie as it was simple and easy to use, but instead taught myself how to use the QuickTime recording device built into my MacBook Air to record what I was doing on screen. I used my phone to record the script that I had written on Microsoft Word Processor. Additional websites I used was TRC Media Studies website in order to gain access to a Digipack and Storyboard template.